to the coffee for the artists. And we want to thank Carolyn, who always provides such a nice setting for us. And everyone even commented today on how nice everything looked. And I'm sure a lot of you already know Juliet, whose wonderful paintings come in out of that gray, ugly day, although I'm glad we have rain, and get to see these absolutely fabulous, colorful interpretations of the atmosphere.
Oh, thank you.
So I'll let Juliet tell you, but I want to say one more thing. Through this door or around, there are more of her paintings in the living room. Okay, so Juliet.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's so nice to see all of you here. I'm very happy that I have some people filling the room. It's wonderful. I wanted to talk a little bit about how all this came to be. I've always been interested in painting clouds and skies and sunsets and things of that kind. And over the years, they've changed. And this is a big change because I found a certain kind of paint, an oil paint that is soluble in water. And it becomes translucent and transparent when you mix it with water and when you mix a particular color with another color. So I wrote this out, and I'll read this, but then I'll talk more easily about all this. When I was a child of about 5, I remember becoming aware of the marvelous forms the clouds made as they moved by the wind and would continually alter, becoming faces, animals, or simply abstractions. Everyone has done this, I know. For the past year, I've been revisiting this deep interest, and now I have a group of studies and paintings that record my meditations on this subject. This work is not photographic, but based on the emotion I feel when I witness the changing nature of these forms, which are really vapor, infused with light and shadow, unusual color, and sometimes sounds of lightning and roaring winds. The paintings I make are not meant to be exact replicas of what I see. When I load my brush with color, the forms almost make themselves, and one color blends with another to become something unexpected. The paint I use is oil-based, which by some seeming alchemy invented in a laboratory is soluble in water, allowing great flexibility and also encourages a planned accident to occur, or as some say, the eureka event. It doesn't happen automatically, but if one is in the zone, it can happen. That is why working in this way is fraught with many failures. But when there's potential for success, I feel it's worth taking a chance. Many actors, I've been told, especially those that perform on the stage, talk about what happens when they are working in a play, night after night. It's always a little different, depending on the audience or the actor's mood. Sometimes they have that moment, that event, an insight, an epiphany, which causes everything to come together. So, please ask questions if you like. Yes.
What's the name of this miracle paint?
It's just paint. It's made by a couple of different companies, and it's simply water-soluble oil paint.
But you've also
Pretty
used
simple.
other kinds of paints with it, right?
No,
Oh, I thought you said you used some watercolor.
sometimes I've used watercolors, and the effect is very similar. It's the watercolors that are in tubes, and they look like any other kind of paint. I think the oil paint is a little more heavy, it's a little heavier. For instance, those two there were oil. And of course, these are watercolors done on watercolor paper. And there are a bunch of, actually 5 paintings in the parlor that you can look at if you like. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer more.
Well, can you tell us specifically about some of the paintings, those very bright ones on the left?
What do you want to know about?
What is your interpretation of that top one? Is it a seashore? Is it a
I
volcano?
call it phenomenon. I was in a field, and I saw some really interesting effects. I don't know, it was after a rain, I think. And the sun was going down, And there was such a brilliance on this side, and there was darker sky on the other side, and it just lasted a moment. And somehow I remembered it. I don't know how I remembered it, but I was working, and I usually put the painting, actually, that isn't canvas. It's a board which is treated like watercolor paper. It has a surface that's rough, and you get a watercolor effect on it. Well, anyway, I was painting on it, and something happened. I put something down, I put something else down, and then it all came together. And I didn't even know that I was doing it. So that happens sometimes, but it doesn't happen all the time. A lot of times you just make a mess.
And the bottom one?
The bottom one, I was on my way to making a mess, and then I stopped.
I like it.
Juliet, were you always working from memory in these
Sometimes I work from a sketch that I made
at the
maybe
time?
years before, or I looked out the window. But a lot of it is memory. A lot of it is just not really memory. I don't know, I just start working and something happens.
And what were you remembering skies mostly from this area or from all over the world?
From
I know
all
you
over the
from
world.
all over the world.
I mean, the sky is the same everywhere, There's
It
not,
feels different though sometimes in other
sometimes
places.
it's different,
Yeah.
of course. Depends on, if you're in England, it's one way. If you're in southern Italy, it's another way.
If you're out west, it's
If you're out west, absolutely.
different.
And you
Yeah.
can tell me something about Utah. Absolutely, I know. But they have become something else. It isn't really based on reality as we see it, as a photographer sees reality. It's just something else.
And the one at the bottom there, above Walter's head,
Yeah.
is that looks like watercolor.
Yes, I use watercolor on
It
that
is,
one.
there is
I
watercolor.
use
on it.
watercolor on that, yeah.
And another one that I like a lot, the one on the right over there,
Yeah.
with the yellow.
That too is watercolor.
So I like that mix.
Yes.
And were they all done in this past year? All done in this past year?
This past year,
Yeah.
yes. In the little room that I made into a studio, which is a bedroom.
What I think is so amazing is that the last show that I remember that you did was calligraphy in various different foreign scripts. And now you've got this. I mean, you really are capable of doing so many different things.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time.
Yes,
I'm pretty
dear, I
old now.
know, but it's not that Rembrandt all of a sudden started painting, I don't know, statues.
Yes, but he drew constantly, and it got stronger and stronger the older he got. His drawing skills and his painting skills. He stayed with the same kind of thing, though. That was
His
faces,
subject matter
figures.
wasn't so varied.
No,
As Juliet says, yeah.
he didn't live. I don't know. Did he die when he was in his 60s? I think.
He lived to be an oldish man.
Yeah.
60 was old.
Hi, Emily. Come on in.
Sorry.
There's
Yeah, Molly. Yeah, Molly.
Could you tell us a little bit about the process? I mean, in other words, do you wet this rough board before
Yes.
you do, as though it was a watercolor?
Yes.
Okay.
I use a sponge. It isn't really dripping wet, but it's wet enough so that what I can put on it runs
We'll
a little
see.
bit. Yeah.
That's interesting.
And,
So you enjoy this medium?
oh yes, I really do. It goes very fast. It's really, when it works, it's fine.
What kind of board is it?
This is masonite board, which has been covered with a surface like gesso. You know what gesso is? It has a grain to it like watercolor paper. And it comes with a frame around it. So that makes it very easy for the artist. It's made by a company called Ampersand.
Like what, called what?
Ampersand.
Oh.
Ampersand.
Interesting.
And, you know, some of these panels are thicker than others. I think I prefer the thinner ones.
This is thicker, this is thinner.
And if you make a mistake and you hate it, can you just sort of wash it
I
off
can
and
wash
start,
it off.
and start over again?
But then if I do that too many times, I really get disappointed. Have you tried,
I don't see any, white in there, but what color is the board?
the board is white.
The
I don't
board is
use
white,
white.
so I'm sorry?
I don't use
No,
white.
I didn't think you did, but I don't see any white.
There's a tiny white in that one
white
right
color.
there.
Oh, okay.
But that's the background. That's the background. White tends to make color grayer, you know, so I really don't need to use white pigment.
No, I knew you didn't, I wasn't really asking that, I was asking where the spaces were. From the board.
That's the empty space, the white is left there.
So what are the differences between working in regular oil paint and this water-based oil paint?
Well, with regular oil paint, you can build up surfaces, have an underpainting and build up the surfaces, and it becomes thicker, if you like. I really, the next things I want to do are, I'd really like to try to do that a little bit more. But I'm never going to be done with this, I guess.
So is this more fluid and does it run together more than regular oil paint? Can you get more fluid effects?
Yeah, if you're using up water, yeah.
It's easier to clean up than this one.
Oh, yeah. It's a big problem, cleaning up. Wish I had somebody to clean me up.
So are most of them watercolor?
Quite a few of them are actually, yeah.
Juliet, you mentioned how you feel, the emotions you feel. So with some of these you'd say were sadness or anger or...
It's mostly positive feelings that I get when I look at some of these. Maybe more meditative than others like these, because it was sort of twilight. But, I've been very happy doing these. When I'm sad, I don't think I do anything. But I'm not sad very much.
That's great.
It's not lately anyway. Any more questions?
Juliet? I see a couple of lines here, but Carol is exactly in my line.
You see part of
When you have lines like that, is that a result of maybe more liquid, more water, and it flowed down, and then you worked with it?
The
Or
lower
was that
one?
by design, this one? right here?
this you're talking?
Yeah.
Yes. I think I sort of left that because it looked like rays of light
It looks like rain, yeah.
or rain, you know. I left it. Sometimes you see something that makes you think of that.
So that was somewhat unplanned, or did you plan for?
I didn't necessarily plan. That's the interesting thing about this. Something happens, it happens. And then you leave it, unless you're so stupid you cover it up.
Is that more likely to happen in this medium than say oil, which wouldn't hurt?
Oil is a little more difficult to control if you're going to do it this way.
So you have to have a more flexible state of mind?
You have to have a very flexible state of mind.
Well, wouldn't you say, Juliet, that the difference is when you put water to water-based oil or to watercolor, it automatically runs unless you don't use hardly any water, whereas oil will stay there unless you use a medium.
Yeah, it'll stay there. You can control it and manipulate it in a different way.
Right.
Do you have a favorite medium, or is that just, it just depends on the month?
Well, lately I'm really excited about this because it's so much fun. I mean, sometimes I've just, stabbed away at a canvas until it was ready to, I was ready to go right through it. And, I think, oh wait, I don't want to do this anymore.
So there we have it. Any more questions or whatever?
I'm going to open this door.
So that you can walk into this other room.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Very talented, thank you for sharing.
It's the only thing I know how to do really.
Well, that's a lot.
Thank you, Juliet. So what will you do next week?
I've got some more things that I wanna work on, I've got a couple more, a box full of things that I'm gonna start doing something with.
Well, you've been busy. What do you do? Okay, you're gonna take all these home in another month.
What am I gonna do with them?
Yeah.
What do you do with all these?
That's a big question.
It's always a big question.
Maybe I'll just have a yard sale and stuff.
But would you just line them up all on one wall and?
I would probably put a few in my living room, you know, make a selection of things to look at. I don't think I wanna put them all away, but I have other things.
I have a full house. I mean, it's just, and we've been doing it for much longer than that. It's just, I don't know what, I mean, it's overwhelming. You have to move to small places, take care of all of them.
We really picked the pieces we liked the best. And I still have some stuff in boxes in all those closets. And now we're gonna go to the closets and want to use everything they want. Because, you know, they're always, you can't really put it out. And now, if you don't do, then you have to find stuff.
Have you seen Next Door?
I have, yes, thank you.
Which makes photography so great because you go outside and you go inside. So you can be very busy inside with the images, playing with the images.
Is this on the computer or in a dark room?
No computer, all digital.
Amazing,
Thank God.
amazing,
No dark room.
amazing with all those chemicals too.
Oh, it's terrible. Besides, you can't do much, creative.
Uh-huh.
And so this is all Lightroom.
That's interesting. Gertrude Webb gave, well, I don't know if she gave, but, you know, she gave a Barbara Hunter or whatever it is. And you know what this is? That's the cane for the oldest person in Lincoln.
Oh,